First, let's talk about another of the top teams in the East, Pat Riley's Miami Heat. After losing today in Charlotte, Miami stands at 45-17. That's a game behind the Knicks in the Atlantic. Miami was rolling along until Alonzo Mourning was sidelined with a foot injury 2 weeks ago. Mourning will be out another 4 weeks. That's the best guess. I spoke to Riley yesterday in Charlotte.
Go out there, play as hard as you can. If you play hard, you're going to play well. And if you play well in this game, you're probably going to win.
You know, in our playbook to start the season, there was one, we have a mission statement that we just talk about and try to, hook onto a theme if we can. Something that is going to have some meaning, and it's to exceed the expectation. Nobody expected us at the beginning of the year to be good or to be a contender.
Uh-oh, Zoe coming up a little limp, and down he goes.
When Zoe went down, it really was devastating because guys were in the state of mind that they have a chance. They have a chance, and I think that's what this is about, but we stayed to that mission, exceed the expectation even more so now because everybody expects it to be over with, and we've worked too hard. We care too much, put too much into this thing to sort of let it go.
MJ between them all! He got every one of them! Yes!
You've lost before, but in my recollection, never like last year's sweep against the Bulls, in that, except for half of one game, you weren't competitive. That must have been tough to take.
There's no doubt about it. It was embarrassing, for a professional basketball team to go into a playoff situation and get rolled. And we got rolled by a team that simply was much better than us and much more prepared than we were. So if you take out of it the fact that another man or another team simply made a better effort than you to go along with their talent, then you can't accept that. And you never let another man make a better effort than you. If their game beats you, if their talent beats you, then fine. But what they did is they took our heart out of us at that particular time, and we didn't play as hard as we should have played.
Do you refer to that when you reconvene for the next season, or is it history?
Well, we talked about it. I wasn't going to let it just go. We talked about what happened there, and it's happened to a lot of teams. I can remember when I went to New York. The season prior, they got swept out of the playoffs. I showed in the headline of the New York Post, something like, gutless or something like that. They got blown out at the Garden. And you don't ever want to end a season on that note. And when you end a season on that note, you got to bring it back to their attention the next year and say, it just can't be this way.
If you could take your best Laker team, what's the outcome against Chicago?
I think we beat Chicago. I really do. Because of one element, Kareem. Yeah, and we had enough talent around the perimeter to be able to match up. I mean, Worthy against Pippen, Magic and Jordan, Scott, you can go on and on. But the one overriding element would have been Kareem because he simply was, the guy. Magic was the force. Cap was the guy. He was unstoppable.
A lot of people believe players don't play as hard as they used to, but you think the reverse is true.
Right, I do. No, I think the 90s player plays harder than any other player in the history of basketball. I really do. You'll see players really giving everything they have to give, and I don't think there's any doubt that, to me, it's like a wives' tale. It's the cynical voice that says they don't. It's the people who really don't know. I mean, I'm in it every night. Every night we're in it, it's a war. Maybe we bring out the best in other teams because they know we're going to play hard. But we get everybody's best effort every night, period.
So when you see so many games that are 85-80, that may all be part of it, but I guess you're saying the main part is more challenge shots, right. More guys just in your face on defense.
People, take a look at it. Everybody says, well, why has, it's simple. You don't have to analyze it. People aren't going to let you shoot uncontested shots anymore. There was an old theory back in the early 80s. I mean, when you set up a game plan, it was set up this way. Who are we going to let shoot the ball tonight? Let him shoot it. Don't let him shoot it. That ain't the way anymore. Everybody sees the visual of a Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, kissing championship trophies. They want that. They want it. And teams are getting after it better than they ever have. And I think the commissioner should be proud of that.